Hi, boys and girls. Today we're starting our last unit together in reading workshop, and this unit is going to be all about becoming experts on characters. So that's where we're heading today. Let me just give you our main takeaway just for today. So today we're going to work on collecting information about the main characters. So we're going to work on collecting that information so that we can become experts on those characters. And really that just means we're going to learn a lot about our characters. So the format of this lesson is going to be the same as if we were in the classroom together. So I'm going to go over an example with you using an example book, and then I am going to send you off on your own to do the same thing. Okay. So let me pull up our example book. And here is the sheet that you're going to be completing with your own book. And again, the book that you are reading is on Epic, and remember, each of you were assigned a different book. Remember, you're not choosing your book. I chose it for you, and hopefully you were able to access it on Epic the other day. So, Days with Frog and Toad, this is just going to be our example book that we're going to go through together, and I'm going to go over this reading response sheet that you are going to then fill out on your own after the lesson is over. Okay? So, just like if we were in the classroom and like we've done a million times before, when you start a new book, you always preview it. So remember, when we're previewing a book, that just means we're looking at the front cover, we'll look at the back cover, and we'll take a look at the table of contents so that we can get an idea of what that book's going to be about. And before I get started, I just want to make sure that I'm filling out my reading response sheet as I go. And if these lines start to bother you, you can really just backspace them. And okay, so I have name. Our book title is Days with Frog and Toad. I'm all set, and I am ready to start this part. When I previewed the book, I learned. So we need to preview our book first. So remember, when you're previewing the book, we're looking at the title. So Days with Frog and Toad. And on the title page, I see that Frog and Toad are hanging out together, it looks like. Remember, we're just making predictions. We don't really know for sure, but we're just making guesses based on what we can see. So it looks like they're friends and they're about to go fly a kite. So that's kind of what I see on the front. Now let me turn to the back. I think there we go. So we always look at a back blurb as well. So let me read it. Frog and Toad enjoy spending their days together. They fly kites, celebrate Toad's birthday, and share the shivers when Frog tells a scary story. Most of all, they have fun together every day of the year. Okay, I feel like I am kind of getting an idea about what my book's going to be about. Um, I still have to look at the table of contents, but I think I can start to write down some notes about some things that I'm learning from this preview. So, one thing I think I've learned is that Frog and Toad like to spend time together. I think you can agree with me on that prediction. Okay. And then I also want to go back to that front cover because it says they fly kites. And I know that the cover picture was them going to fly a kite. So I am going to predict that at some point they're going to fly a kite together. So they're about to fly a kite. And notice, actually, I'm going to add a period here because I would like for you to practice using complete sentences. Notice that both of these sentences start with capital letters and end with periods. Okay. And then I have one more thing that I'm going to add, but let me just quickly take a look at the table of contents before I decide what my final thing is going to be. Okay, so I'm looking at the contents, and they're labeled tomorrow, the kite, shivers, the hat, and alone. So that just gives me like a quick idea about what these chapters might be about. I didn't really learn too many new things here. I feel like it's just giving a quick blurb. So I am going to make my third thing that I learned that they are good friends. Okay, so these are the three things that I learned from previewing the book. You're going to do the same thing with your own book that you were assigned. And now that I've previewed the book, I am ready to start reading my first chapter. And when you're reading your first chapter, remember, we are trying to become experts on our main characters. So today, remember, our goal is to collect information on those characters. So you might either have one main character or two main characters. I think most of you just have one main character. But this story really has two main characters. The first main character is Frog, and then our second main character is Toad. And again, boys and girls, I'm filling out the sheet for two characters, character one and character two, but you only have to do one. If you want to do two for two of your important characters, that's fine, but you only have to do one. So if you leave this part blank when you turn it in, that's just fine, okay? But I know that Frog and Toad are both pretty important, so I'm going to fill out this sheet based on both characters. So I'm going to start reading this chapter, and I'm going to see if there's some information that I can collect about both of these characters. So here we go. You can follow along as I read. Tomorrow. Toad woke up. Drat, he said. This house is a mess. I have so much work to do. Frog looked through the window. Toad, you are right, said Frog. It is a mess. Toad pulled the covers over his head. I will do it tomorrow, said Toad. Today, I will take life easy. Already, it seems to me that Toad might be a little bit lazy. It seems like he has a mess in his house and he doesn't want to clean it up. So, remember, we're just kind of predicting at this point, but from what I read on these first two pages, I am going to say that actually I'm going to do a complete sentence. Toad seems lazy. He doesn't want to clean up. Okay, so that's one thing that I've already learned about one of my main characters. Now let's keep reading. Frog came into the house. Toad, said Frog, your pants and jacket are lying on the floor. Tomorrow, said Toad from under the covers. Your kitchen sink is filled with dirty dishes, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad. There is dust on your chairs. Tomorrow, said Toad. Your windows need scrubbing, said Toad. Your plants need watering. Tomorrow, cried Toad. I will do it all tomorrow. So it seems to me that Frog is not quite like Toad. It seems like he doesn't like messes. He's pointing out all of the things that Toad needs to do. So I'm going to guess that Frog is kind of the opposite in Toad when we're talking about like if he likes things clean. It seems like Frog doesn't like messes. Okay, so that's one thing that I've already learned about Frog. Let's keep reading. Toad sat on the edge of his bed. Blah, said Toad. I feel down in the dumps. Why? Asked Frog. I am thinking about tomorrow, said Toad. I am thinking about all of the many things that I will have to do. Yes, said Frog. Tomorrow will be a very hard day for you. To me, it seems like Frog is not really taking it easy on Toad. He's like, dude, tomorrow you're going to have all this stuff to do. So it seems like I think he's being a good friend, not saying, oh, yeah, it's fine, just leave it. He's telling him, yep, tomorrow, if you leave this mess today, you're going to have a lot to do tomorrow. So I think that I'm going to say that he's trying to be helpful, like a good friend would. So I'm going to say that Frog wants to help Toad. Because remember, like if we're a good friend, we're gonna try to help our friends do the right thing. And the Frog knows that the right thing is for Toad to kind of get himself together and get his house cleaned up. So let's just keep going. But Frog, said Toad, if I pick up my pants and jacket right now, then I will not have to pick them up tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to. Toad picked up his clothes. He put them in the closet. Frog, said Toad, if I wash my dishes right now, then I will not have to wash them tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to. Toad washed and dried his dishes. He put them in the cupboard. Frog, said Toad, if I dust my chairs and scrub my windows and water my plants right now, then will I not have to do it tomorrow? Will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to do any of it. Toad dusted his chairs. He scrubbed his windows. He watered his plants. "There," said Toad, "now I feel better. I am not in the dumps any more." "Why?" asked Frog. "Because I have done all that work," said Toad. "Now I can save tomorrow for something that I really want to do." "What is that?" asked Frog. "Tomorrow," said Toad, "I can just take life easy." Toad went back to bed. He pulled the covers over his head and fell asleep. All right, so that's the end of chapter 1. We learned a few things about Frog. We said that he doesn't like messes and that he wants to help Toad. And Toad, on the other hand, Toad seems lazy. He doesn't want to clean up. But in the end, he seems like he decides to do the right thing. So I'm going to say that Toad wants to do the right thing. Even though like it was hard and he didn't want to, he wanted to do the right thing, so he did. Okay. And that takes us back. I just want to go over again today. We are starting our unit on becoming experts on characters. And today's goal is just to collect information about main characters. So that's exactly what we did when we filled out our chart. And now that you have gone through an example with me, I want you to go into the assignments in Teams, and you're going to complete this reading response sheet on your own, collecting information about characters. Remember, you're filling this out based on your own book. Please don't forget to fill out your name, your book title. Then you're going to preview the book, just like we have always done. And then you're going to pick either one or two main characters and just tell me some things that you've learned about them. That's really all, boys and girls. So again, if you have questions, you are welcome to reach out to me. Happy reading, okay?